Yes. All right, we're recording.
Thanks for the recording.
Yeah, so apparently whoever wants to be co-host has to go back to the main room so they can assign it. And since I was the only one there, they gave me co-host. So I'm starting to record now. Let me know when you guys are all done.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, they were talking about LACE, or I guess they announced it. I think it used to be called One, and I think the whole idea is for there to be a light wallet that unites the wallets. That there's a variety of different wallets, right? So crypto wallet and identity wallet and all the other NFT, wallet and all those kinds of things. So it's called LACE now, which I think is a nod to Ada Lovelace. And yeah, that's going to be super cool. There's an initiative to have beta testers for that people can sign up for. I don't know how much of that beta testing will have anything to do with identity, but since Roots ID is building wallets as well as a server identity wallet and a mobile wallet called Roots Wallet, the server one's called Wallcly. Yeah, we're super excited to see kind of how the wallet ecosystem is going to grow. I did get to talk to Charles on the next day, the Friday, and he literally asked me, what did I think about the wallet certification process that they're trying to stand up. So I told him Roots ID is super interested in helping with that, helping to, I guess, figure out how to certify a wallet and what are the portions specific for identity wallets. And he thought maybe September, that would be when that process is starting to come together. So really cool event, got to meet lots of people. Drummond Reed was there. He did a panel where they were talking about the state of SSI. And they basically are saying it's early days. They feel like the biggest hurdle is making SSI accessible to like the masses, so they don't have to understand DIDs and verifiable credentials like technically. They just can use an app and things work. So Drummond Reed said UX when he was talking about what is it going to take for digital identity to go mainstream. So that's good to hear. Roots ID spends a little bit of Ilana, who works for IOHK. She's a UX designer. We probably every 2 weeks, usually we meet with her, and she gives us ideas because we're not really a UX team. But IOHK is nice enough to give us office hours, give anybody office hours that's building on the Cardano ecosystem. And so, yeah, super exciting times. That's probably it.
That's cool. Nice summary. Anyone else from here managed to attend consensus, or was Lance the only one?
Yeah, it was actually great to see the IOG workshop where they promoted Roots ID. That was awesome as part of the foundation necessary to get that LACE wallet out there and verifiable credentials. So I liked seeing your name thrown in there. That was great.
Yeah, thanks. That was super nice of Tony. He literally was modifying the slides like right before his presentation to include us. So I went up there and presented, and then I called SnapBrillia up, and they talked about the integration they're doing, and then Direct Ed that's doing like educational scholarship, smart contract based like and identity based like triggering of paying out scholarships to people. He went up and talked. So yeah, that was super nice of the Atala PRISM folks.
Yep, I was there with the SnapRelay team myself.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, for today, I have a question for you all. Something that Anushka asked me to get some information, some feedback actually. The thing is that we need to prepare the challenge setting for the Fund10. And well, for all of us, we know that we didn't manage to get any SSI specific challenge for the Fund9. So it would be nice if you have some sort of ideas of how should we put or specify in the challenge setting for the next round for Fund 10 that may help us to to get a better result than the last time, because I think that last time there were several challenges related to SSI. I think like 4 or maybe 5, I don't remember, but there were several of them, and yeah, the expectation was that maybe more challenges would be a good idea, and we could get a better chance to get more options for funding proposals. But it looks like it didn't work. So I don't know if someone of you have any feedback on that matter. What can we do different in the challenge presentation to get a better result?
Yeah, my gut feeling is that so in Fund 9, it seems that the movement was towards larger, more general challenges. And so I think that having a bunch of different SSI identity, digital identity type challenges might be working against us. Meanwhile, identity literally permeates every part of not even just blockchain industry, right? So DeFi and KYC and all these things, like identity is permeating all of them. Like I talked to the World Mobile people, and they're using internal DIDs and things like that for identity of devices and for identity of their users. And I guess what I'm trying to get at is, if the movement keeps towards general things, I still think that identity applies to so many different things, especially like KYC, voting, vaccination, medical records, like all these different things. So I do think that it certainly could be a general challenge that could have a large budget that would benefit a lot of these projects. They need identity things, but I just feel like digital identity is being treated as like an afterthought, even though it is like so. I mentioned direct ed, right? They want to do these scholarship payouts. I think if Rohan was presenting that to people were thinking, oh, this is a smart contract project, right? Because it's a smart contract and it's going to trigger based on someone completes their degree or completes the class, and so they get some scholarship money. And no, I think a lot of people don't think about how you need the identity layer in order to verify that educational credential, right? So you need those DIDs and you need those verifiable credentials. And so Rohan comes to us and is like, hey, I need help on this, and we're advising him and working with him, and that's great. I just, for whatever reason, I don't know that people are realizing how important and how useful the identity portion of all of this stuff is. So if we can find a way to express that in the challenge and maybe not have multiple identity related challenges, just one big one that we're all behind together and we're promoting, I feel like that could win. Now, I'll just add one caveat, is that the momentum is behind those big general challenges right now. How will people react to those in Fund 9? I don't know. Maybe the movement will be back towards specialized, smaller challenges. We'll have to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's a good feedback. Maybe make more clear in the challenge setting how the SSI impacts other types of things, not only, I mean, to make more clear the impact that identity in a SSI context impacts other areas. Maybe yeah, that's a good feedback. Other thing that I was thinking is that the title, because many times I, myself included, I don't read the specification of all the challenges or even the proposals. Sometimes that title, if it's catchy enough, that's pretty much what I read or I see to say, oh, so I vote for the challenge or not. The proposals I read, most of them, especially if they are related to SSI, the others I don't. So yeah, I was thinking that maybe the title should be something catchy and easy to see the importance.
Yeah, I totally agree. Instead of something like SSI, which a lot of people don't know what that is. I don't know, maybe it's something like identity in voting, smart contracts, and finance, or, you know, something that just says like identity is everywhere, right? So yeah, I totally agree that the marketing for this stuff is it's so important. And in fact, we see a lot of projects that have great ideas that are probably way ahead of their time, but the marketing is so good and everybody's so excited about it. They're like, yeah, let's vote for that. Let's vote for that. And then it's like, oh, the technology you need for that, like you need Roots ID's help, and you know, we're kind of going to tell you, well, it's going to take a while to get to the, you know, the right point here. So I feel like SSI is full of technologists and they're not great marketers, and we got to get better at that.
Yeah, that's good. Anyone else has something to say about that?
I don't know if this is outside of the scope of the challenge setting, but I was really excited to see that the conversation was starting on Dapps certifications. Is that something that Catalyst is going to address and IOG is going to address, or is that up to some of the services provided like Roots and so forth to solve?
If you're saying certification in terms of, let's say the wallet certification, they're going to need like decentralized identity technology in order to produce the credentials that will be related to that. But then at the same time, there'll be this big kind of governance process to define, you know, well, how do you get the, you know, what triggers getting the credential? What standards do you have to meet? And so I do think it's going to be quite a large process. I do think IOHK is going to lead it. You know, as soon as you hear Charles and everybody else talking about it, you know, that means it's big time on IOHK's radar. And so they're going to commit to it. So I think it's going to be a group effort in terms of technology and governance.
Okay. That's good. Other thing, I posted the office hours here in the chat. If someone needs some help with the polishing of the proposals for Fund10, you can schedule some time with Peter, and he can help you with the writing of your proposals. He is very knowledgeable on the SSI and Atala PRISM stuffs, so he can help if you have any doubts in the way you are writing your proposal, or need some tips or polishing in general. You can schedule some time with him, or actually with anyone in the IOG team if you have questions or anything else. So
Yeah, the office hours are just an incredible benefit that IOHK gives us. And I don't know if those office hours, yeah, I guess those are all IOG, mostly IOG people, all IOG people.
yeah, they are
So
IOG.
Yeah. So I think I was in a meeting at one point where somebody was, you know, kind of complaining just about like, you know, some of the difficulties of all of this ecosystem and the players and all that stuff. And I regularly remind people just how incredibly helpful Catalyst, IOG, Cardano Foundation, Emergo, like all these players that, you know, we might be critical of. Well, it's easy to be critical, but it's incredible how much they're trying to get everybody involved, and you know, they yeah, just a lot of support.
Yeah, it looks like I am missing the Ilona's office hours here. I will try to find the link and post it, but
I can
she also.
I can pull it up since I schedule with her
Okay.
regularly. Yeah, if you give me a second, I'll throw it in there.
Yeah, Ilona is expert in the user experience stuff. So if someone needs some assistance with that as well, you can book some hours with Ilona, and she is great. She has been helping a lot with the Roots wallet to get that.
Okay, it's in.
Nice. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So yeah, I think then we can move to more general topics. I don't know what you guys want to talk. Anyone here has proposals for Fund10 that maybe you want to talk a little bit about?
I don't want to dominate the conversation too much, but that's all. I'm waiting. Somebody else can go, but I have plenty to talk about on proposals.
Yeah, people is very silent today. Some days people wants to speak a little bit more.
So let's see. Should I talk about proposals that are more random but that we're excited about, or more straightforward? So I guess very straightforward. Roots Wallet will be submitting a proposal for iOS. Essentially, our alpha release is for Android because the Atala PRISM SDK is in Kotlin, and so that's the obvious choice. There is a possibility that the Atala PRISM SDK is Kotlin multi-platform, which starts opening up the shot for other platforms like iOS, but then also hopefully the SDK, a JavaScript version of that is coming out. And so that would make it very easy then to you know, be able to develop for multiple platforms. So either way, we think that we should be submitting for iOS because even though a lot of the developing countries that we like originally were building towards, there is a lot of iOS usage, obviously, in the US and other places, and just even to be able to, well, we want to be able to support both and eventually web as well. So yeah, we're super excited to start working towards the iOS side. That's probably our most obvious proposal.
Adi, did you have something to say?
No, I'm just trying to learn more about Atala PRISM. I would love to learn it, and I'm hearing everything about it. I'm trying to take it back home to Africa and put it in a program that we are currently developing. So I'm just here trying to see all the great strides you guys are making, and you know, everything else that you guys are doing. I was just in the room with James over here, and he directed me to you guys. So, so yeah, I'm just listening, sir. And James popped up.
Hey, James, nice to see you.
James says there's gonna be some geniuses in this room, so I'm here.
Oh, then I should leave.
Me too.
What's up, Lance?
Hey, good to see you all.
Great to see you. But can I ask a question? As far as Atala PRISM and it being in the not on the mainnet yet, like what is the roadmap of it getting on the mainnet or other Dapps being able to integrate them fully and use them, especially within third world countries?
So yeah, about the roadmap, we don't have a date for mainnet yet. There is much work that is in progress right now. A lot of things that the team wants to get ready before going to mainnet. One thing that is in progress is, so for example, right now, the way that most of the users of the Atala PRISM are evolving, that's maybe the word, is someone joins the Pioneers program, the Atala Pioneers program, and gets educated in how to use Atala PRISM as a solution. And most of the people that joins the Pioneer program then makes a proposal in Catalyst. That's the path that has been followed in most of the cases. And then from these proposals, some teams get funded, and these teams start to create projects. So we have some examples here. We have the people from Liberia, Roots ID. There's people from Proof Space that pretty much follow that path. So one plan that we have is to provide some sort of pre-production environment to these projects that are already developing things that are in progress. And the plan is to initially give pre-production access to these projects that are part of the community. And from that point on, we need to explore how to get these projects into mainnet. But the thing is gradual. I mean, we are getting there. There are plans for that. Just that it's not going to be like we are mainnet for everyone. Go there and join and get your project in the mainnet. It's going to be gradual. Also, a lot of this stuff is new for everyone, not only for the people developing the projects, but also within IOG, we are internally as a company defining how we are going to approach these things in a way that is the best approach for everyone. So that's why it's taking time. The technology is new, the product is new, the market is new. So there are many things that need to be figured out. So we are working on that, but eventually it will happen. When everyone is ready, it will be possible to just mainnet. You're on mute.
Kadi, you're on mute.
No, I say I understand. Thank you. I was saying I understand that, and I wasn't trying to put you on the spot as far as Atala PRISM. I know that it's going to be a while. You guys are working on it, but I figure I might as well get some insider trading while I got you guys here. So, but it's understandable. So your first step to me would be for me to guess, for me and the rest of the board in Africa to at least get to the Atala PRISM and continue to play around with it while you guys are working on it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's good.
All right. And how does like a project like us get with Atala PRISM to work along with Atala PRISM to get it to be built in? Does that go with the course that I will be learning in Atala PRISM?
Yeah, the normal part is that, well, the thing is that you need to enroll in the course because it's the only source of information on how to use the SDK and how to start working on that. Right now, I'm not sure if there is a cohort open or not. Maybe if you can send me your email, I can give you the information back, because right now I'm not sure if there is the cohort open. The thing is that there are works in progress to improve the courses. And I'm not sure if that's ready. Right now, let me copy your email and I will send you the information.
Right.
So let me copy this here. So yeah, when you enroll in the course, other thing that you get is an access token to use the SDK. So that's why it's important to enroll in the course, because otherwise you don't get the access to the SDK. And yeah, other thing that you can do is maybe join some of the community Discord servers. You can also in the Roots ID Discord server. There is plenty of people that is working with Atala there, not only from the Roots ID project, but from other projects as well. And I'm sure that there are other community endeavors that have communication channels that you can ask questions. Also, there is the IOHK or is IOG? Well, I don't know, the official IO Discord server. There is some channels there that are related to Atala. But what I'm not sure right now if that's open to everyone or only to the people that is in the program. So I will write you back with the information.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I just launched a Discourse one, and I'm going to definitely be looking over this. Now that at least I got some contact with people who actually understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what kind of project are we talking, Kadi? Did I miss it? Is it like a software project, or is it like?
So my project, it's not just my project. It's a project that I started with a bunch of elders back home in Liberia, West Africa. Ebola broke out in my country of Liberia, and when it broke out, it was close to impossible to track it. Most of the hospitals don't use laptops or computers. There was no electric system, so they were just calling up to the CDC or calling people in America who know medical people and then send them to the CDC. So my mom was one of those people that was linking back and forth. So we decided to start up a healthcare system free for everyone that we just can put on a laptop and do that. But in doing so, we needed to make it decentralized. So that's brought us over to Cardano ADA and Cardano and all of that. And Mr. Hawkinson and the paper he wrote. From there, we realized that trying to create a healthcare system, you can screw up the information and get an identity system part of it. So we decided, okay, cool, we should put an identity system because most of the people in the African villages don't have identity. You know, the government don't even recognize the majority of the people, you know? So it's like, it's crazy when you said this African country have like 5 million people. Well, you didn't count half of the people. How can they have 5 million people? So it was one of those, let's give identity to everyone. So it was cool. We said, okay, we're gonna put identity part of this. And in doing so, we ran into Cardano, and now we're in Atala PRISM. So our system is SHiELD, S-H-I-E-L-D. The S is for social awareness. Basically, the S part is a place where you can have all your different Dapps in. Dapps that the foundation recommends, and fund Dapps that will help you make your money, and everything that's in the S part. And then the H part is for healthcare, which where we started from was the healthcare part. The I part is identity. And then there's the E. The E is education. There's the L. The L is legal documents. And the last part is D, which is data research. So basically, we'd like to have a healthcare portal with a healthcare Dapp within its Dapp, or identity portal with identity Dapp within that Dapp that the government can basically use as a DMV system, you know, that runs off Atala PRISM. And we want to have the education system and the legal document system. But the last part, the data research, out of all this information that we are going to be gathering, we would like to create a welfare system for the African people. So 50% of every data that is collected it is going to go back into a wallet that is automatically created for each person. So with this system, we're going to have a free welfare system. And then the other 50%, 25% of that is going to go ahead to fund the African and Ethopia Foundation. So basically, the foundation will be funded and run to that 25%. The last 25% of the data research is going to go into the token. would like to create a token that would sponsor the whole project. And the token is basically a 100-year-long drop. And this 100-year-long drop is slowly going to be dropped yearly in order to sponsor this project. That this project would not just be for the country of Liberia, but it can slowly exit Liberia and spread and integrate itself within the West of the, within not just West Africa, but for all the African countries. Currently, we have the green light from the University of Liberia and part of the government within Liberia. We have a very strong tie with the government in Liberia. So we're trying to put this together. Old Miss is the techie part, try to put this together. That way we can easily hand it to the executive branch, because the executive branch was able to meet with a few people in the executive branch. And this is an idea that they're really interested in, because your identity and your healthcare system, the government don't have to pay for it. So they're very much interested in the system and they've been implementing a system like this. So so right now it's the whole time of trying to figure out how exactly that we can build something. It was good fun coming up with the idea of everything that Mr. Charles said 6 years ago. It was fun to sit down with all these people. Yeah, we can do this, we can do that. Now we said we can do all of this stuff. How is it that we are able to do it? How is it that we can deliver it? And the first part to be able to deliver is through the identity system, and which is Atala PRISM. So it's okay, let's start with this and we can slowly work ourselves outwards. And hence my reason for being here and trying to pick you guys' brains.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's a well, I mean, it's fantastic. The use cases tied to like real world scenarios are like the most important thing. I think, you know, we like a lot of us are software developers and we feel like the technology is the most important thing. But the use cases are what makes the technology like special. So I in hearing all that, it does sound a lot like what they're also trying to do in Ethiopia. And so I do, my recommendation, just my gut feeling, not that I'm, you know, yeah, just my gut feeling is to track along with what they're doing in Ethiopia with the educational credentials.
Absolutely. I've been tracking the educational credential, what they're doing in Ethiopia. But unfortunately for AU.SHiELD, no one in AU.SHiELD fully understands Africa. They did so many things wrong. Many things wrong.
Yeah, that's why they need,
you went through the government.
That's what I mean, that the use case is so important, right? Like that feedback of what they're doing wrong.
Yeah, education system was designed out by a college student. Like, why would you not let the college student in the country fully design your education system? In the high school student, you know, like literally your high school students, the ones that are going to use this. Why would not do it? Why is the government talking to y'all? Like these is just simple stuff. I understand it's the techie part. They're looking at it from a techie, but being from Africa and being part of the people, you have to look at it from the people perspective. Africa is a continent where a government cannot stay over 10 years. If the government disrespect the people remove the government. We are not like America. You know, we're not like Europe or anything like that. We remove government. So government have no power. The government work for the people. In America and Europe and everything else, the government don't, you know, but in Africa, they remove the government. So in this case, it's like when AU.SHiELD was doing so, my biggest problem with them was they did not go to the village leaders. They did not go to the village elders. They went to the government. The same people, these same government officials, they go to the village leaders and the village elder and kiss the ring. So if you're building something, why would you go to the president? Go to the village leader, go to the village elders, kiss the ring and get the permission. If the government tried to question you, you have the power to shut the government down by going through the village elders.
Yeah, so we have had that conversation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we've had that conversation about Ethiopia. There's a I guess a lot there's a collective like community collective called the ITER collective, right? And so that's like a grassroots effort, literally like Roots ID. The reason we named our development group Roots ID is for grassroots efforts, right? So it's not like a top-down effort, it's a bottom-up effort. And so we 100% agree with you that identity efforts probably will be most successful in places where government is not stable. It'll come from these grassroots efforts with village leaders and community leaders and things like that. So yeah, we totally agree with you. And so there's nothing that says that the educational credential has to come from the government, right, as the issuer, right? The issuer can be anybody who's considered like a trusted person. So I think you're maybe muted again, or we lost your audio. There you go.
Wow, doctorate degrees from the government, not the university. So why would I want to go through the government? Why would you want the government handing educational stuff? If I'm over here in America right now, I'm in the Silicon Valley area. I'm in America, and I can contact Africa right now, and I can get me 50 different doctorate degrees from 50 different countries because the government would sell it to me rather than anything else. So that's part of the problem. The main part of the problem is the corrupted people is the same people that was in charge of a new form, something that's going to revolutionize Africa and revolutionize the world. But instead of you giving it to the people, we ran right back to the same government. And that was the only problem. That's not in total for everyone. It's just at the end of the day, most company goes into Africa and they get tricked by the government. Everybody wants to be broad, pay off and everything like that. So you get tricked by the government, and it's something that they need. And you guys at Atala PRISM, you'll build something that's absolutely wonderful that the government needs badly, needs severely. Not just that, the government don't even have to fully pay for like that. The 100% they have to pay somewhere else, they're not even paying 10% of the amount of work, dedication, and effort you guys put into it. So because of that, they can take complete advantage of it. But if you go towards the people, you don't have that. The government, most of the government don't care. And for me, my only problem is when you say, oh, look at what they're doing in Ethiopia and stuff like that, is I'm okay with looking at it. But at the end of the day, the Ethiopia project was tainted by the Ethiopian government. I mean, you don't have to believe me. You can go to any one of these African forums that believe in Cardano. Like when you're starting in Ethiopia, I stopped my project. I'm like, yes, Africa about to become a world power. Because that's what Atala PRISM brings. That's what Atala PRISM literally brings. It put the people in the position for the people to grow, develop, and have the power in their hand, and the whole country and continent can develop. That's why I saw. But immediately, the second the government saw, the government had to wrap around it. And from there, the rest of us that was happy about Atala PRISM entering Africa, we all have to back up and say, okay, yeah, it's fucked. So it's not that I don't like what you're doing in Ethiopia, it's just too tinted.
Yeah, I guess I think that there are multiple ways that this is going to get solved, and I think only one of the avenues is going to be the government side. But I think the grassroots efforts are also, the community-based efforts. That's what my development group is most passionate about. I guess the part of the reason that the Ethiopian situation is so important is so that we don't make the same mistakes, right? As a community, there's so much to learn from that. And one of the things that nobody knew when the efforts in Ethiopia and other parts of Africa were started up was, nobody knew there was going to be a civil war that would break out like in Ethiopia. So I think it is important to include the government as a participant, but we don't rely on them for pressing forward. So I would just want to make sure that we don't start up something new in Liberia, right? Mm. Yeah, I would hate to see something started up new and the same mistakes made over again. So
tech-wise, everything that you did tech-wise is beautiful. It's beautiful in Ethiopia. Everything tech-wise is beautiful. That's the first thing. The second thing is the strategic move of developing in Ethiopia. The developing in Ethiopia is beautiful, but also it hinders you. It hinders Atala PRISM, and it affects Atala PRISM very, very badly that most people over there didn't realize. By developing in Ethiopia and Alabama, oh crap, I keep pronouncing that word wrong, the capital zero. By developing there, you are next door to the African Union, which allows Atala PRISM to be in the eyesight of 54 different representatives from 54 different countries that can get Atala PRISM within those 54 countries. But if the execution is not right and properly done, and you are doing, and that is going on right in front of the rest of these leaders from Africa, they are looking at something like, well, those guys were trying Ethiopia, it didn't really work. Why we want to try it here? You know, so I think that was something else that like even though IOHK and everybody took into consideration, like, oh, Ethiopia would be good because the African Union is there. It was good, but it wasn't great, because developing somewhere else, run a test project and making sure everything is good, and then taking it to Ethiopia where you can run it smooth and 54 or 53 other leaders can see it and be like, oh wow, it's working here. Let's take it back home. But if you develop in Ethiopia, it's barely working in Ethiopia. It's all back and forth. When you bring the name blockchain up, most African leaders are like, wasn't it doing something in Ethiopia there with identity that's all messed up or something? It's not even messed up, but that's literally what they said. Isn't it doing something in Ethiopia with the identity and school and stuff? It's all messed up over there. Because it started in a place that every African country stares at, you know? So yeah, Ethiopia was great. That was one of my only main things, was starting Ethiopia. Maybe you started in Zimbabwe or Togo or Guinea, Sierra Leone, any one of those countries where it's a small country. You start to run perfectly. You go to Ethiopia, you blow it up Ethiopia. Every one of these representatives see it and like, oh shit, bring it to our country. I thought that's what was going to be going on. So, but yeah, but other than that, like, Atala PRISM is going to change the world. It's going to change the face of Africa. It's literally going to change the face of Africa. It's the only reason why I'm here. But yeah,
yeah, go ahead, Esteban.
No, that's good to hear your feedback, because actually, well, I was not aware of what was the perception within Africa of this effort that is being done with Ethiopia and IOHK and the use of Atala. And yeah, it's very good for me to hear your view on that, because it like opens my vision of this, or maybe the approach that is being taken with that. One thing that is for sure, even if the initial approach of the technology was done directly with governments, that doesn't mean that technology is going to disappear. I mean, the technology is being created, is going to be made available. So even if this doesn't go the way that you think it should go, the technology will be there, and someone can take the technology and try again doing the implementation from the other point of view, trying to direct the effort from a different angle. So at least one part of technology is that is doesn't care who is using it.
Absolutely.
It's there for everyone. So
absolutely, and that's my fun part. But my main reason for bringing that up is because, like he said, there's a civil war in Ethiopia, you know, and Ethiopia project was good, other than the government, but without civil war and stuff, everything that the technology is great. That just need to be taken from there and put somewhere with a little bit of stability, and somewhere that the local government, the local people is pushing it through, somewhere that Atala PRISM can have over 5 million people on board in 3 to 6 months, you know, and math like that is possible. It's just, it's the ineffectiveness of the organization on the ground that you guys company and AU.SHiELD and Atala PRISM, all you guys was working with, that might not have been behind the dream as you guys are, or might not have seen the bigger vision that you guys see, you know? So it's not like a foot shooting the leg. You're absolutely right. It's built, it's there, it's definitely need to be used, and it's something I want to use. It's one of the reasons why I'm here. Is just my input is more so, hey, y'all continue to do what you're doing in Africa, but don't fuck with the government. Just my input. Yeah.
So one thing that would be super cool is if you have a contact, like we have a contact for the ITER organizations within Ethiopia, right? So that's the community-based leadership. It's kind of like an insurance network, really, a community insurance network. And so if we could have a similar contact in Liberia, then we could. So that's how these things are going to get started, right?
So
that's how
So basically, what I did, I'm sorry for cutting you off. I apologize. So about 2 years ago, we started the African Union SHiELD Foundation. The African Ethopia Foundation is to basically go ahead and put and make sure that Africa have a free, decentralized, distributive system that the people can utilize completely free. Basically, a foundation in Africa to oversee all of this. It's an oversight foundation, and our oversight foundation. The main thing about the foundation was to load the foundation up with as many formally powerful political people and as many chiefs and elders within the community. So that's basically all we do. The foundation, it goes from village to village, and it puts a village leader as a committee member on the foundation. So the foundation basically acts as the boss of me, the boss of if you guys to come on board, the boss of anybody else that come on board, because the foundation is within the country of Liberia, and the foundation have ties to everybody within the country. One of the chair of the foundation have the backline to the president. How you call it? The former vice president is one of our strong supporters. Basically, not to let the cat out the bag, politically in Liberia, like we have built the SHiELD Foundation that is full of political. It has political people, but it don't have politicians. They have former political people, but not politicians. People that can move our agenda within the country and the continents without objections. And that was the main thing with as far as building the SHiELD Foundation, is being able to implement everything that we need to implement without necessarily running into roadblocks or any form of objections. And in Africa, all you need to do is know the right people. And so basically that's what the African Union SHiELD Foundation is. And I just dropped the name. It's the AU.SHiELDfoundation.com. I put it in there for you to take a look at. But the foundation is 100% solid. It's a fully functional nonprofit organization. They do everything that a nonprofit foundation does, and their main thing is to try to figure out how to sponsor us building this and put it out. So as far as is there an organization back home, there's an organization back home, and that organization can spread into any African country that you need it to spread into, with enough political leaders in that country to push it through. That is one of the main things of the SHiELD Foundation, is to go ahead to be a lobbying group for blockchain within the continent of Africa, that we don't have no roadblocks. In Ethiopia, that was one of the main things the foundation they was working with. They didn't necessarily clear the roadblock or involve politicians and people into it that will make sure that the roadblock be completely open, because there's no need for it to be.
Yeah, thanks for providing the link. That's super cool. Yeah, we would definitely like to learn about the effort, and we would love to see identity starting up at a community level.
And one of the reasons I want to go ahead and push this through, and I've been jumping on every course and everything. Next year is the election for Liberia. The SHiELD Foundation we have the political leader of both sides that will be running. The former vice president side and the current president, both of them are strong supporters of the SHiELD project. And one of our reasons we're trying to hurry up and push this through is because with the election coming up next year, we'd like to do a test project of doing like a low vote to see if Cardano or ADA can be used as a voting platform within the country, just for those people who have the software. But yeah,
my gut is that it. Well, I don't know. I don't know much about the platform as a voting system for new projects. That would be interesting to find out. But certainly, to get started, there would have to be an identity element. So finding a way to at least get that started. I don't know how these things work, at a national level, but I do know how grassroots efforts work, among communities. I've been involved in several of those. So just seeing a community, it's almost like you're playing initially, right? Like you're just, as a community, deciding, this is something that is valuable. Digital identity is valuable, moving forward. Let's just see if our small community, can do it, because we know who we trust. And if we start at those levels, then I think that there's the real possibility then that it can become something national or regional.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I want to go ahead and start in the University of Liberia, because if we can start in the University of Liberia, we can start with identity in the University of Liberia and then move on slowly towards the education. With that, also, we just don't have the University of Liberia. The University of Liberia is our host. We also have all the universities within the capital city. I won't say within the whole country because there are universities in the villages and stuff that we haven't grasp hold of. But as far as the university within the capital city and stuff, or the full major university, we have all of them on board. So, so necessarily like the identity is what we want to start with, because these students don't necessarily have virtual identity. And, you know, for most of these university students, they would like to be recognized globally. And Atala PRISM gave them the ability to be recognized globally. So yes, definitely, it has to start with the identity.
Oh, yeah. I'm meeting with a guy who's University of Texas, Austin. They're in an educational initiative for universities for credentials. And then I have my own university close to me that actually my wife works for as well. So I'm trying to get like an Atala PRISM based community that's focused on university credentials going. So I think it's a great time to, you know, learn about you guys and you know, I have to learn about this process because there's an initiative already in the higher education circles on these verifiable credentials in education. So I have to learn about that, but you know, we could all learn about it together and figure out how to, yeah, get it going.
I'm 100% down. I would love your Discords or all your other information. Oh, your Discord is right there. I got it. And yeah, like I want to learn with you because you seem to know exactly where you two seem to know exactly where you're going and where this is headed. So I'm all ears, but I've been taking too much of your time. You have other people on here. ICEQCUBE. I'm sorry, bro. You look like Ice Cube. How you pronounce your name? Toshama?
Dude, you call me Ice Cube and then you butcher my name. It's
I'm sorry.
Tashoma.
I'm patiently waiting and I'm asking like 101 question. I'm like, you look like freaking Ice Cube.
That's all good. I take it as a compliment. He's dope. But yeah, my name's Tashoma Bellini. I just come here to present the application, which I'm building on top of Atala PRISM. It's a decentralized on-ramp and credit solution for the unbanked called JUICE. So a bit about myself, I'm a UI, UX designer, Liqwid co-founder and Atala PRISM pioneer based in Senegal. So, I mean, you probably won't hear from the accent, like I was raised in the UK, background's Jamaican, but I've been living in Senegal now for the past 6 months with my wife. And just doing like some research here as to how we can kind of solve that problem of actually onboarding people into DeFi or Cardano when they don't have crypto already. I have a presentation I can show you guys if I can share my screen. If you guys have like 10 minutes. Cool.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, nice one. Okay. Boom. All right, so this is the current situation. Africa is the 3rd fastest growing region for crypto in the world. Takes up 7% of the total retail transaction value. Currently, there's a large amount of middle-class Africans who utilize stablecoins for the purpose of remittance payments, access to DeFi services, and also protection from inflation. Others use it to purchase goods and import and sell. We've had positive announcements from Cameroon, the DRC, and Congo Brazzaville, who have said that they're willing to work with crypto and blockchain-based solutions. But unfortunately, the majority of African governments have been really slow in addressing the regulations surrounding crypto assets. And any exchanges that exist on the continent typically operate in a kind of legal gray area, which kind of leads on to the problem which we're solving. So there's a lack of infrastructure for converting crypto assets into fiat currency. Any crypto ATMs that are available don't offer stablecoin, and the majority of people don't really want to expose themselves to such volatile assets. Centralized exchanges, if they are legally allowed to operate, typically require a bank account, and there's a lot of people that don't have proof of address or the correct documentation to open a bank account. And the current way to get around these issues is to use services like Paxful or Remitana, which are peer-to-peer marketplaces for cryptocurrency. But they also come with a host of problems as well, such as low transaction times, low liquidity, and once again, these are custodial platforms as well. So at any point, the owners of these platforms could just do a rug pull on these users. So what we're proposing is to build a KYC AML-friendly marketplace that allows users to easily trade between fiat and stablecoins in a secure and seamless manner. So this would be a mobile-first application available on the App Store or the Google Play Store. And in short, what we're doing is we're making it easy for anyone in the world to purchase stablecoin to avoid inflation. All that's required is their facial biometrics, a phone number, and the fiat payments available to them locally. So unlike Paxful or Remitana, this is going to be a fully non-custodial service. Every transaction that occurs on the Juice protocol is going to be encrypted and stored permanently on the Cardano blockchain. And this is what makes us KYC and AML friendly, the fact that we're able to recover 3 data points that regulators can use to identify users with the right authority. We store the user's phone number, a reference of the payment method that they're using to send fiat, and also the decentralized ID attached to their wallet and the verified credentials to prove their liveness. So essentially what it is we're doing that's unique in this space is we're using established CeFi payment solutions, and we're integrating with Atala PRISM to create a kind of safe marketplace for users to trade between fiat currencies and crypto assets. So I imagine you guys are very familiar with the technology, Atala PRISM, Cardano. I can probably skip this slide. But key thing to note is the major challenge to stablecoin adoption is the high transaction fees on Ethereum. So this is why we're using Cardano, and then on top of that, Atala PRISM with their DID solution that they're planning to have a public release for by end of the year, which is in line with our roadmap. So let me just illustrate how it works. We'll probably answer a lot of your questions you may have. So this is an early wireframe I designed. At the top, this is the home screen. There would be a short onboarding process before this, which we're still kind of in the nitty-gritty of figuring out. But we'd mainly be using like the Roots wallet to create a decentralized ID initially. But by the time the user gets to this screen, the DID has been created already, and now it just needs to be put onto the blockchain essentially. So on the home screen, the user is going to be able to see their balance at the top in their local currency. The Juice application on launch will be using the stablecoin. So we have a partnership already with Liqwid where we'll be using the LQX stablecoin in this ecosystem initially, and then in later versions, bring in other stablecoins. But as you can see, there's 4 options the user has. They can send, they can swap, they can borrow, and they can also earn via lending or staking their stablecoin. But the key part of the key magic that's behind this application is the tier verification system, right? So the user's not going to be able to access any of these features until they at least have tier 1 verification. And tier 1 verification gives users access to swapping features, right? So here they type in their phone number, and then they upload their facial biometrics, they hit next, Then they choose the payment method, which they want to use to basically fund the minting of this verified credential to prove their liveness. So here the user uses Wave Money, which is very popular here in Senegal. And then a request is going to be broadcasted over the Juice network for a bounty hunter to see and accept this request, given that they also use Wave Money as a fiat transfer payment method. So a user's accepted it, that also uses Wave Money. We can see their phone number, and we can also see the Juice score they have, which is basically like generated from the amount of swaps that the user has done and how many disputes they've had. So we can see that this person is like fairly trustworthy on the network. They've completed a number of successful swaps, and we can see that their internal score here. So all the user has to do now, given that they're satisfied with this information, is send 5,000 CFA via Wave Money to this phone number, accept the terms and conditions within this amount of time, and then hit confirm. There, they'll be forwarded to a chat screen where they can speak to this user in case of any problems. If there are any problems, the user can flag to our community of arbitrators who are verified people from our Discord community with the correct badges and with completed the right number of tests, etc. And they will essentially take the reference number of the payment method used and verify that it was sent successfully. If the payment wasn't sent successfully, the stablecoin that's held in the smart escrow contract will just be reversed back to this user. And then the onboarding user will have his DID flagged. So in this case, it was successful. The stablecoin is released. Now we can basically fund the verification of their biometrics using our third-party biometric verification service called Anonybit, who we're partnering with. They use a decentralized cloud server system to basically encrypt and store biometrics in a secure way that allows the user to also retrieve their biometrics for any verification purposes, or even in the case of retrieving wallet passphrase, which we're still kind of looking into. But just for this example, let's just say they're using it to verify their biometrics. We're not storing any passphrases as of yet. So we can see, so the purpose of this is just to make sure that users aren't able to create duplicate accounts, right? And to know that every user on the Juice application is going to be a verified human person with a phone number, biometrics. And we can see from this transaction that there is change left over from the 5,000 CFA that was used to essentially mint that verified credential. And they can use, now they can use this stablecoin to get higher verification or begin sending and swapping. So you can guys just throw me any questions. It's the first time I'm presenting. So happy to have you guys shred it apart and I can write things down and have a think about them if anything. But I'll continue. Tier 2 verification is gives users access to higher swapping amounts. So here we're just looking for more proof that this is like a live, unique person. So here to connect their social media or connect their email address. And then hit next. Because they have stablecoin in their wallet already, they can just send the stablecoin directly to the smart contract. And the smart contract is going to speak to the API of either the social media account or the email to verify that it's been active for a certain period of time. And then we'll link those as verified credentials to their wallet, and that will give them access to higher swapping amounts. So here in Africa, because it's such a legal gray area, there isn't actually like a defined amount as to how much you're allowed to trade without sufficient KYC. So we're offering our users up to $1,000 per month, up to tier 2 verification, which is actually sufficient, especially in countries that do have regulation like South Africa. That's absolutely fine to have a user's biometrics and phone number in order for them to process a cryptocurrency transaction. But once again, as you've seen from this illustration, JUICE as a protocol isn't actually holding any funds for the user. It's non-custodial, and we're not involved in the money transfer element. All we're involved in is ensuring that users are able to verify themselves, their biometrics, and making it easier for people to connect with other users that want to swap assets or between fiat. So on this screen, this is the swap screen. Works very simply. They just type in the amount that they want to swap, the payment method they want to use. We're hoping that in version 2, we'll be able to kind of expand on the order book model that MusiSwap uses to allow the user to kind of choose between whether they want to work with bounty hunters that are the cheapest or the fastest. So we can hit swap, and then once again, a request is going to be sent out over the network to find a bounty hunter that's willing to accept this request. Here, a user's been found. You can see their number, you can see how many swaps they've done. I have to send the funds, 200,000 CFA to this phone number using Orange Money. Chat box, any problems, bring in the arbitrator, it's all good. And now we can move on to tier 3 and tier 4 verification, which is what we want to do for version 2, which we really feel is like where we'd be able to offer the most value. So tier 3 verification allows the user to borrow a stablecoin or even lend a stablecoin. So for this part, we're saying that users would most likely have to either upload their ID, if they have one, or a company registration number for the small, medium enterprise they own. So here in Africa, there's like I believe it's a 269 billion lending gap. So we believe we'll be able to at least be able to solve part of this by offering peer lending on the service. So they add their company registration number. We use Anonybit once again to verify the documents. They include KYC verification as well in their services. And sorry, just because I skipped over, actually, we calculated that the cost of verification alongside the cost of mint and verified credentials should come to around $4 so per user. So, and then tier 4 verification is essentially just asking for further ID, but I'll show you how the borrower feature works. So we actually plan to work with external credit score providers once again, just to kind of like offer more security and trust to our lenders. And users would be incentivized to complete as many credit scores as possible to open themselves up to a wider range of lending pools that are offering credit. So here they use, so for instance, you have U2, which uses a person's phone usage data to generate a credit score. This is like an established credit scoring company already. We can access the API. PingMe uses psychometric testing and personality testing to develop a credit score. And I believe iPay uses a combination of both. Once they've completed one of these credit scores, it will be stored as a verified credential in their wallet. And now they'll be able to type in exactly how much they want to borrow, how long they want to borrow for, and the amount of collateral that they have. So once again, request is going to be sent out of the network, and I will be able to generate offers from the lending pools that are available on the JUICE network. So we can see that this is an offer from the Liqwid JUICE lending pool, right? So it requires 15% APR, 30 days, and they can actually choose between the different offers that are available to them and accept the one that's most sufficient to their needs. So as I said, tier 4 is just additional verification. Here they add the proof of residence and the bank statement, which completes all tiers of verification. And just for clarity, I'll show you the bounty screen where a user can go into to see any requests that are on the network. They can filter them by swap, or they can filter them by onboarding requests, and they can see the payment methods which are needed to complete these requests. They can once again see the history of the user and how much is required, how much stablecoin is required to complete the request. Bounty fees are going to be set by the JUICE community of JUICE DAO token holders. Users can also lend or create a lending pool once they have enough reputation on the network. So in this case, a user would select a lending pool and check out what their loan acceptance terms are. So we can see their performance. They've been earning around 10% APR. We can see how much collateral is required from a user in order to be able to have a loan accepted. We can check the lockup period, the JUICE score that's required in order for loans to be accepted from this particular pool, the level of verification that's required. And then also we have the option where we could say the user requires a special NFT in order to have a loan accepted from this particular lending pool. So in this fictional case, let's imagine that there is a microfinance institution that exists here in Senegal that the user would have to complete an in-person interview with, or maybe an audit with, in order to receive a Susu NFT, which would then be attached to their wallet, allowing them to borrow from this particular lending pool. If they choose to deposit to preferred lending pools on a JUICE application, they also receive back LP tokens, which they can stake to earn JUICE tokens on the network and expose themselves to the revenue fees generated. So that's essentially the gist of the application. I'll go back to the slide to go through the last slides. So this would be our revenue streams. So we charge 0.5% fee on any completed trade on the JUICE network. That goes back to the DAO treasury. We have a $0.5 fee for any API requests from stakeholders that may want to access the information stored on the blockchain in a consumable manner. So one of the problems we're actually solving for financial companies or players that operate within Africa is they want to be able to operate with open banking practices, like how they do in Europe or North America, where they're able to access each other's APIs and, you know, share customer information in a secure way. But there's like what they call a data honeypot problem, where if they store this information and they make it accessible to other people, they open themselves up to breaking GDPR laws or cybersecurity issues. So it's been very slow for the financial industry in emerging countries, especially within Africa, to kind of move toward these open banking practices. So what we're offering established players or incumbents is access to our API for a small fee, allowing them to extend their services now to the unbanked, right? Because we're giving the unbanked essentially like a on-chain financial history, which could be of some utility to some of these incumbents. We charge a 0.5% fee on every loan granted for our peer lending marketplace, and then a 0.5% fee from any rewards earned from staking as well. The JUICE application, I did have the tokenomics in there, but I think I removed it. But we're going with classic Satoshi tokenomics. So 21 million tokens, 15% team allocation, 15% goes towards marketing, and then 70% on a community airdrop over the course of 10 years. We estimate that the MVP for this product, just having the swap and send features, would cost around 500,000 to build. So going into our team, we have Isaac as our CTO, who's the head of Platonic Systems. And we also have an agreement with M Labs to become a development partner for any areas which we need extra developers for. And we estimate it would come to around $500,000 to build out this MVP. The majority of funds we're hoping to raise through Catalyst, and any private or VC money which we raise would come out the team allocation. And yeah, I feel like I kind of rushed through it, but guys, ask me any questions. Be nice.
It's very nice what you have done. I think that the project is very well defined. You have clarity on many aspects of how you want to approach this. One question that I have is for the Catalyst funding. Are you going to present several proposals across different funds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So currently we have 3 proposals submitted. One to Grow Africa, Grow Cardano, the other one to the DAO proposal. And we're only asking for 350,000 spread out through those 3 proposals out of the 500,000. And then we're hoping to raise the deficit in Fund 10 once we're able to show that we're able to complete on our milestones and show some progress towards it.
Yeah, that's good. Is a good strategy to distribute the requested funds in several challenges and also in several funds.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I've submitted the proposals for this fund, but because it's such an early stage idea, I mean, we do have a white paper, but the technical documentation as to exactly how this will be built out and step by step is still being worked on. So I think for this fund, we're really just looking to get as much feedback from the community as possible, so that we can reiterate our proposal for Fund 10 and get funding.
Yeah, one thing, just a suggestion, maybe when you present a project, maybe you can present it in segments.
Right.
Because it's a lot of information to digest in a single presentation.
Sure.
And yeah, maybe you can say, okay, let's do a presentation of this functionality and focus on that, so you don't need to rush too much while presenting, and also it's easier for the people to understand. And I don't know, just give some maybe more ideas. I'm not sure if you have or not. Maybe like create videos presenting the idea and create segmented videos. So when people wants to know more about your project, they can go and see, I don't know, a 5-minute video that explains a part of the functionality, and have a few of them where the people that is interested in a specific area can go there and check that. But yeah, it looks very, very cool. I think that the concept is very well elaborated. The wireframes are a nice thing, because you can have an understanding of how do you plan to create the application. That's very cool. But yeah, I like it. It's good.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And yeah, definitely I'll be following this up with like some 5-minute videos, some Medium articles, and maybe like some essays on Twitter as well to get some more feedback from the community. But no, thank you for listening. I really appreciate the feedback. I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Tashoma, when I see something like this, I think what Esteban's saying is very good in terms of breaking it apart, because it is massive, and I know only the identity side, and I'm still learning even the identity side of things. But so I'm one of the developers on Roots Wallet, and so when I see your presentation, I imagine all the different apps that someone has to have and all the different accounts that someone has to have in order to like span the whole ecosystem, And I think to myself, like, how do I build Roots Wallet in a way that Tashoma's app can use Roots Wallet without people having to know that they're what they're downloading at least has Roots wallet in it, you know, if from what I'm saying. I mean, you know, it's our goal to build it in a way that's modular so that people can use it, but at the same time, like, I'm doing a ton of work, right, just to try to make it so that someone can properly store and recover their identity information in their Roots wallet, right? And that is not easy. And so being able to blend apps with Roots wallet is it gives me a lot to think about. And then even if they had separate apps, then being able to use what they've created, right, a published did and the verifiable credentials and everything that they have, being able to allow access to those things from another device or even just another app. Yeah, it's a long road ahead, but it's cool.
Yeah. This is the thing. It's like, this isn't an idea that's kind of been brewing for a while, to be honest. I've been involved in blockchain for a good couple of years now, but like, you know, it's so exciting just to see Atala PRISM is coming now with, you know, with these features to actually make something like this possible. I'm fully aware that, you know, there's going to be a shit ton of development that needs to be done. We're probably way ahead as a layer 2 application in terms of what we're trying to offer. But we figured it's good to at least get the research started now and try to build out like a technical framework of how something like this might work. So, because people need it. That's the fucking truth. People actually need it. I live here in Senegal, and like, you know, I'm still using my UK bank accounts to trade between crypto, and it's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Another thought that, because earlier we had been talking about the challenges that might be submitted for like Fund10, like so that, you know, the challenges being like the actual like funding group, but I feel like there's this separation between like something that I'm building, which, you know, I build an app because that's enabling people to reach into Atala PRISM and into the identity ecosystem. But, you know, really what Roots ID is mostly focused on is building an ecosystem so that apps like yours can include identity information, right? Which is so central to all these different things, voting and DeFi and, you know, identifying somebody in a smart contract and so on and so forth. But I almost feel like if there was a way for the challenges to separate use cases like this, which is you want to build like this holistic solution for your users, and then like projects like mine that want to build the pieces that you need in order to build your holistic solution, right? There's no way that you can build all of this on your own.
No.
And we certainly want to see this use case, you know, flourish and want to help the identity part of it as much as possible. And so, but then in the end, we'll probably end up submitting, you know, our proposals in the same challenges, at least the way the challenges look for Fund9, let's say. And so I do feel like it's weird. Like, you know, let's say that your project gets funded and mine doesn't. Okay, that's what the voters chose. But did the voters understand that, like, our projects work together, right?
Yeah, exactly.
and so how do we get the Cardano voting community to understand the separation between people who have these awesome ideas, they're connected to a community, they want to build a solution, and then people like me who are like focused on technology so that these kind of solutions can happen, right? That they can come alive. So I don't know. That's something I'll be thinking about as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking with Pete V earlier this week at Atala PRISM, and he was actually the one that was kind of gave us more in depth into what Roots ID is, and because initially we were thinking we just have to build that part ourselves, and thank God you guys are working on something already. But you know, we still haven't figured out that bridge. We're thinking for the MVP, it might require, like, you know, as part of our marketing to actually have like onboarding stations or a guide where they download the Roots wallet on their phone and then they download the Juice application And then somehow from there, they're able to take that information and upload it onto it. You know, it probably won't be as seamless as we want it to be for the MVP, but in time, I think we'll eventually get there.
And that's a great point, Lance. I recall previously there was a challenge setting for infrastructure, which is more, right, what you guys are building. You're building the infrastructure for Dapps to take a part of and utilize, but it was a bit broad. The challenge setting in the category was a little bit too broad, and maybe people didn't utilize it the way it should have been. So I think that would be a great discussion to have with Catalyst on how can we separate the underlying infrastructure that's necessary for these Dapps to build on, and separate the voting mechanism for those. Because you're absolutely right. A lot of these Dapps that are potentially getting approved or voted on require some of the other proposals that aren't, you know, succeeding at getting accepted. So they should be a separate voting category in itself.
Yeah, thanks for echoing that. It's I do think in this Fund 9 there is the developer ecosystem challenge. So maybe that's essentially what that's supposed to address. I'll have to look at it more closely. Yeah, so I'll look at that more closely, and I hadn't really thought about it too much before, because I guess Roots Wallet is an app, so it's like, oh, okay, I'm building an app, but really Roots ID is focused on building, yeah, these infrastructure projects to help other projects to flourish. So yeah, anyways, good combo.
Cool. I need to jump to another call, but yeah, you can continue here discussing if you want.
Yeah, I have to head out as well.
Yeah, so yeah, it was very nice conversation today. Thank you everyone for participating. And yeah, you can stay here if you want, if you have something else that you want to talk about. But yeah, thank you. And see you in the next town hall then. Goodbye.
Bye, Esteban. So I'm going to go
Bye.
ahead and stop recording right now. Like Esteban said, you can continue conversation, but I have to leave as well. So I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay.